So, ladies and gentlemen, I have heard there is a plan to impeach the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, and this is the news that have been trending on the newspaper and on social media over the past 1 week or so. But I think this is suicidal to the President of the Republic of Kenya. And if there is anything that Dr. William Ruto needs to do, is to protect his deputy. I'm not aware, and I don't have any reason to say that the President, is the one who is sponsoring the ouster of his deputy. But I'm just here to discuss 5 reasons why, if any attempt can be planned against the deputy, would be politically suicidal to President William Ruto. Welcome to Kim Explains. My name is Kim Wilson Kimani, and I will be with you discussing the 5 reasons. Reason number 1 is that any attempt to impeach the deputy will declare the deputy president the kingpin of the Gikuyu nation. Why I'm saying that is because the Kikuyu nation has been struggling on deciding who their king is. See, in politics there has to be this figure, this king figure, that directs what as a community you take as a political decision. Now, after the retirement of the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, the Kikuyus did not find anybody that they could call as leader, because Uhuru Kenyatta did not anoint or say by word that this is the person that I left my leadership with. And we have heard many politicians, especially those who are allied to President Uhuru Kenyatta, saying that Uhuru is still the kingpin, since he has not been seen sharing or giving away the sword of power or the symbols of power that he was given by the former or the late Mwangi Michuki. So now that the Kikuyus have been struggling with finding who is their kingpin, this could be, or the impeachment of Gachagua would be one way that the president would be declaring him the kingpin, courtesy of sympathy. See, sympathy is a crude weapon when it comes to politics, and it is the worst weapon that any politician uses to win. You all remember that sympathy is one of the things that put President William Ruto into power, where the Kikuyus were convinced that Uhuru Kenyatta was trying to victimize his deputy, and that's why they had to remind him of yangu kumi yako kumi. And despite Uhuru Kenyatta telling them openly and giving them every evidence that Ruto was not a good idea as the president, they could still sympathize with him. Number 2, which is automatic, impeaching Rigathi Gachagua unites Mount Kenya. And the unity of Mount Kenya, as you know, will be one of the distractions that any presidential aspirant or anybody who wants to become a president should either take advantage of or be afraid of. If you cannot take advantage and that would not work in your favor, former politics or former elections have proven that without Mount Kenya, one cannot become a president, because this is the region with the majority of votes. And so if only the Mount Kenya was to come together and they rise against you as a presidential candidate, that could be an assurance, or it could be one of the threats that you probably will not become the president. I'll give you a case scenario. If, say, President William Ruto unites with Raila Odinga, he might be able to fetch all the votes from Western Kenya and from Nyanza region, and also in Rift Valley. But don't forget that there is still possibility of people like Rigathi Gachagua having been declared the kingpin by the sympathy that will be caused by his impeachment. He can still unite with other leaders like Kalonzo Musyoka and probably find somebody from the coast or somebody from any other region and present a very strong vote against any competitor that they would be facing, and that competitor may include President William Samoei Ruto. And therefore, this, as point number 3, becomes disastrous for future cards. Okay, point number 3, I'm saying that an impeachment to the deputy president is very disastrous to the future of politics for anybody who will be against Rigathi Gachagua. Now, having been declared the Kingpin by the Sympathy that we have said, and the Mount Kenya having united, that becomes a very strong card to fall against anybody who wants to rise against the mountain. Number 4, it weakens Ruto's 2027 agenda, because President William Ruto got his biggest support from the mountain region. In the mountain, he was given about 47% of the total votes that made Ruto the president, all came from the mountain. And so impeaching one of their own, whether accepted or not accepted, whether right or wrong, would be in a particular way be seen as betrayal to the community of the Mount Kenyan region. Even if he has to choose somebody from the mountain, still they will have a bad memory that William Ruto chose Rigathi Gachagua, and then he betrayed him at one point, and so it will become difficult for any Mount Kenyan to trust William Ruto, just in case he thinks or he has an idea of going back to Mount Kenya. Number 5, and which is the last point I want to discuss, is that it opens fire on government. I have never seen a worse situation as when you have Kikuyus as your opposition community. See, today the opposition community has largely been seen as the Luo community. And you see, they come from the Nyanza region, which is far from Nairobi, where government operations are normally conducted. See, when Baba Raila Odinga calls for maandamano, the biggest boost and the biggest supporters that he gets when he calls for any demonstration is from Kibera, because this is where his community comes from. So when you go against, or you form an opposition against the Kikuyus, remember their counties are just next to Nairobi, and most of them are still in Nairobi. So for you to find or to create an opposition from this region means that any time that they call for protests, the whole community can simply come together from Kiambu town and cause make everything not to work simply in the capital city, and therefore the government will have a tough time. However, that's my opinion. I also feel that though we might see this as negative, or we might see this as a new idea for President William Ruto, there's a clip that has gone viral over a period of time where Ruto at one time said that some people think that they have a problem with the Kikuyus, but the Kalenjins, have a bigger problem, and that problem was not to be solved at the moment when President Ruto was making that statement. Now, he has already managed to get the presidency, as he said that you wait until you get the leadership. The president has already gotten the presidency, and I don't know, I have no idea whether the president is trying to implement what he said, wait until you get the power. I don't know whether to ask this question or on whether you think or not that the president is trying to implement the idea that he had back then. But if you find it important, you can still comment. Now, my name is Kim Explains. If you are here for the first time and you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and don't forget to hit that notification bell. If you're watching from another platform like TikTok, Facebook, or any other social media platforms, kindly head on and run to YouTube, search for Kim Explains, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to watch my other videos and leave a comment.